Okay, thank you so much everyone for coming on time or early, even earlier. Good afternoon. My name is Marilyn. I'm the market producer for Census Institute, formerly known as Aria Business College. This is where our students begin their lifelong learning journey, where our students as well are exposed to the drive toward attaining a learning mindset that enhances their knowledge, skills, and attitude. Census Institute is committed to providing quality services and courses by experienced and resolute educators. We believe in nurturing every student and creating opportunities for a career development. The learning you will receive is intended to provide you with skills and knowledge that will enable the realization of your learning goals. Thank you so much again for coming here. And today, it's one of our very first webinar of more and other events that we are organizing to add value to entrepreneurs and small and medium owners who would like to upskill to ensure business growth, professionals who would like to upskill for career development, either towards pay rise or career transition. And of course, as you know, you register here, and the theme today is Leading Through Turbulence, Unveiling the Secrets of Effective Leadership in Rapidly Changing or challenging times as well, right? So amidst the evolving challenges that we are facing, amidst the evolving challenges, there lies a vision for a prosperous business future. This event will delve deep into the art of harnessing a strategic and optimistic mindset pivotal for leaders in these changing times. And of course, it's our pleasure to have Don, who will be generously sharing with us his experience, his mistakes, his challenges, according to him, in the past decades of doing business, particularly how he turned around his business during the pandemic. So Don Ho is a turnaround entrepreneur, young entrepreneur awardee, and CEO of Nanyang Incorporated Private Limited. He's an experienced director of business development with a demonstrated history of working in the events industry, skilled in business planning, strategic planning, marketing strategy, management, and business strategy. With his strong business development professional, graduated from the University of Hull. Don also owns various companies like Citrus Media Private Limited that publishes various magazines and conducts wedding exhibitions and other events 3 times a year. Wow. He also owns the ARC Sports Management Company that rents out futsal court to the public. And he turned around his company from losing enterprise almost 2 decades ago into a multi-million net profit company with several subsidiaries. Nanyang Incorporated is a Singapore-based company that provides integrated engineering solutions to the marine and offshore industry, and their services includes design, engineering, procurement, construction, and commissioning of various types of vessels such as tankers, bulk carriers, container ships, and offshore supports vessels. It provided specialized services for the upgrading, repairing, and conversion of vessels, as well as the fabrication and installation of offshore structures. And additionally, Nanyang Incorporated offers project management services, ensuring that projects are delivered on time and within budget. Wow. Their website highlight their commitment to safety, quality, and environment protection, and showcases the experience and capabilities in the industry. And so, without so much further ado, I hope I gave justice to what to what you have done so far, Don. Please unmute your microphone, and I give the floor to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think that's the longest introduction I've ever received, and half of them, I don't even remember what we have done actually. Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you, Marilyn, and also thank you, Census Institute, for inviting me just to. I know Dr. Fred for quite a while. We've been friends for many years, and I think one thing that Dr. Fred wants me to speak is because he know I make a lot of mistakes in my life. I have so many mistakes that he had write a book about it. So then that's where he sort of invited me and say, Don, can you share the mistakes so that people don't make such mistakes anymore. So, okay, I know that, thank you for everyone who is here. And thank you for making time for the 1 hour. Actually, you can do a lot of other things than being here. But I appreciate you being here. So I'll be very candid and try my best to share as much as I can. But first, I've actually prepared a deck so that at least you get an understanding what do I do. So that, yeah, you can have understanding what do I do. So I'm going to just quickly do a screen and then tell my story, okay? So feel free to, I won't be able to answer all the questions, but just write in all the questions, because just by speaking alone like that is very scary for me. So I'll try my best, okay? So Nanyang actually, for our vision is to enable a beautiful, sustainable experience everywhere. So we are a construction builder for temporary structures. So I'm going to explain a little bit more, but I'm going to run through a quick deck so that you have an understanding of what I do, because just now there are certain parts of the marine is actually really not what I do, okay? But nonetheless, I'm going to quickly show you some nice pictures so that, yeah, feel free to ask any questions along the way, okay? So we established in 1965. I'm not that old. My dad started it, and I took over about year 2000. And from just a funeral setup structures, we actually have gone into corporates, meaning we build for corporates, we build for commercial events, and for weddings as well. But I think maybe about 15 years ago, where technology is involved, I'm a crazy fan of automation and technology, so I love structures like that. We started to bring in aluminum structures that has enhanced the safety of our people, the builder, at the same time, quick build temporary structures. So I'm going to show you some pictures how it looks like, right? Give me a second. Okay, so but first, some history, the transition, okay, where my dad used to be, we used to build wooden structures, so all the wooden tents that is involved. And when I took over during that, we were building structures like this, the steel tent. But one of the problem of the steel tent is that the manpower, that whoever this, the worker has to actually be on top. And it's a very, very dangerous thing, especially in Singapore, because there's a building work from safety act that is imposed on all construction, that we have to have safety measures when you're working at height. And then that's where actually maybe 15 years ago, I partnered with Work Safety and Health in Singapore to bring in such structures behind to minimize the reliance on manpower, because we used to have 16 people. Now we probably need about 8 of these people, because they're all modular, and it actually enhances the productivity. It's no rocket science. It's quite easy. It's just a clip-on modular areas. And this picture is one of them that I'm very proud of, which you are seeing it this weekend, is the racer suites for all the Formula One. For the Formula One event this weekend, actually. So basically, I love it is because it's sustainable, and all these items are reusable all the time. So this is our 5th year building this, and aesthetically it looks nice as well. So we built this with insulation in place, whatever the clients is looking at. More importantly, it minimizes the workplace hazard. Okay, so okay, give me a second. So, okay, now, so one of the story that I want to tell most is I'm going to show you all the glorifying things first, then I'm going to tell you what the hard work that we have gone in. Actually, this picture is the PSA dormitory during COVID. Each of these block is about 20 meters, 130, and actually we took only 20 days to build this up for 3,000 to 5,000 recovery workers during the pandemic. So that has actually saved us and saved many of our industry players, and sort of we're very happy to be proud of this, to also work with the Temasek and the countries, with the government and all, to build facilities for hospitals, for dormitory centers and all. So just to boast a little bit as usual, because I'm a Teochew. So this is Formula One, the design, build, and release it on the year-to-year basis. We have also did something for Avenger Disney at Melbourne, during Melbourne. This is a pop-up, and we built this entire structure within 6 days, so that they can turn into a Cirque du Soleil kind of thing where, but they were there for about 6 months and running an event. So now this structure has been going worldwide for Avenger under City Neon. Next, during COVID, you may have seen this. This is at Gardens by the Bay, which is Oriental Express as a train exhibition. Then, of course, for those event lovers, this is none other than Beer Fest Asia, which we just built in June at Kallang Theatre, that just belong besides the Kallang car park area. And this is Singapore Garden Festival that we have won a 5-year contract in 2014 and 2018, that we built this 10-meter side height tent that we actually use for the entire. So during this show, actually from the Chelsea Garden, they used to be a Chelsea Garden of Asia. So before this, the event was have a visitor of 150,000. And after we built this for the 5-year contract, actually the 150,000 visitor actually went up to 450,000. So this is one project that Nanyang has always been very proud of, and it's a lot of work actually. Just on the Linkway walkway itself, just this small walkway is about 1 kilometer that links to the MRT. Yeah. And of course, we have our double-story structures that we turn to cafes, and it is a TCC cafe during then. DBS Regatta, I think some of you may have seen it during Singapore, and Laneway Festival. And then, so I'm going to stop here because that's where the story starts, right? So the story talks about, actually, don't be afraid to explore, and there will always be a new exciting. So when I took over my dad's business, this is not just, during then it was only funeral. Yeah, and we have only about 7 manpower. Today we probably have 70. Yeah, so within that, but during that I was the one also laying the chairs, driving the lorries and the building structures like that, especially on the funeral. So what it actually dawned upon me, it was more like, so I'm going to just give you some foundation of who I am now, so at least you understand. So during that I was just looking at all the funeral. It's like there's no standard price. So people actually become a financial victim when someone passed on. And I just don't like the idea. I thought this should be a bit more transparent. So we sat down with a few friends and maybe a few pastors and say, hey, how do we make sure that people don't become a financial victim when someone passes away? So we standardize it in Singapore context, a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, how it looks like in a wake, in a void deck, and then how it looks like in a structure if we build a tent over. And then we standardize this. 20 years down the road, this is the template that the whole Singapore is using. So I'm so proud of it. So that actually this is something that we all started with. So I wanted to say that actually sometimes do not underestimate things that is in your hand. It could be a chair. Now, if I started that time having funeral, 7 men, 2 lorries, and someone tell me, say, I'm going to do Formula One, I'll probably be fated. During that, I would never believe in myself. So, but actually, in when we started, even the laying chairs, laying 2, I think I still remember there's 1 7-month that period that was so busy. I accidentally quoted wrongly for 2,000 chairs in the stadium, and guess how many chairs I have? 2,100. So all my chairs is supposed to lay, but all my guys are out there doing other things, and there's only 2%, which is me and my brother, is supposed to lay these 2,000 chairs in a stadium. And I started to realize that I quoted wrongly, but nonetheless, I have to fulfill with the integrity of my code, right? So I started laying these chairs. I think I remember from 8 a.m. I finished to 1 p.m., just the 2 of us, and in the entire stadium for 2,000 chairs. And during that, it was so tough. You just don't want to do this anymore. It's so tough. But then, if I press a button down the road after 20 years, I look at what we have done. So I do not know the profile of every of you, what do you do and all this. I hope most of you are entrepreneurs. If not, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying that sometimes you realize that actually whatever is in your hand, is far more important to multiply than something that is always in other people's hands. So I give you an example. I've met people who said, hey, wow, this property thing, because property is booming at one time, right? Wow, property is very good. When they go to property, the property collapse. Then they say, hey, during then insurance is actually doing very well. Then they say, hey, insurance is very well. So they run after the trend, and insurance collapse. So sometimes all this is called seasonal, right? In this seasonal itself, sometimes you may be wondering when is my turn. But be faithful of what you're doing right now. That means what is in your hand could be the next breakout soon. Just don't keep looking outside. Just number one, don't underestimate what you have in your plate. But look at it and see whether is there any way to innovate, to transform. So when I look at my dad's business, right, most of them wearing slipper during then, no safety in place and all this. Most of them will have despised this type of trade and said, hey, don't please go and do something else. Don't come. Even my dad also despised that. They say that maybe try not to do this business. But then when I look at this, I say, if you put just one thin carpet at the certain area, it makes your whole event look so good. If you change a bit of lighting, it makes you look like it's so impactful and all this. So all these dreams starts to come in and say that, hey, if you are holding on to a family business or sometimes and a very old trade, let me congratulate you, because that's where all the opportunities are. So with that, the first thing I learned is actually don't underestimate what is in your hand, and don't despise it, because if you despise it, you look at it and say, no, mine is very small, this is nothing. Now, what business actually has to start, and once they start only less than 3 months, it becomes very big? There's no such thing, okay? There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of hard work in the process in this journey. So it's not a rocket science, but it starts somewhere. Then you can share a story like me after 20 years, right? You have a story to tell, because along the way there are so many things, ups and downs. So my number one is to do not despise is what is in your hand. Take a closer look and see actually what value are you bringing, providing to the industry or to the consumer, or more importantly, to the society as a whole. Okay, so the second thing I actually wanted to talk about is about perspective. Okay, now just now the title is Leading Through Turbulence, right? Unveiling the secrets. Actually, I don't think there's a secret, right? Especially COVID. COVID only tell you one very, very humble thing. I've done this business for 20 years. My dad has done it for 30 years, 50 years. If I were to look at my finances, all the savings that we have, it only lasts us 3 months. So don't take your business too seriously, okay? Because no matter how much work, sometimes when this type of disruptive things comes, you just have to have the right perspective of things. You just don't, number one, don't sit at the coffee shop and scold government, okay? Because everyone is going through trouble, okay? Watch how people are, watch all the positive things that people are looking around. So in your perspective, so I give you an example. I feel that, what you call that? I feel that the power of appreciation or gratitude is very, very important. So I give you an example. Now, for example, Marilyn like this property, and I like this property. Okay. Now, two of us like this property, and we were bidding for this property, and someone buy 1 million, I buy 1.1. Does the property change? The answer is no. It's because we appreciate it, right? We appreciate the property itself. So the power of appreciation is actually in us if we learn how to appreciate. Now, if we have 10 things right in front of you, in Singapore, right, if there are 2 bad things and 8 good things, we talk about the 2 bad things and say, only in Singapore, this one, you talk about the 2 bad things and say, yeah, this, no. But we never talk about the 8 good things. We never feel gratitude about 8 good things. And after a while, what happens is you tend to lose that focus and you always pick up the bad things. And after bad things come, enough accumulate, it will start to sink you. It will start to burden you in a way, and then you start to see the whole world, even no matter how bright the sun is, it starts to look very gray. And then with that, after a while, you tend to give up, because the surrounding, then that morning, right, someone actually walked into the office and say, good morning without a smile, and then you are thinking that this is not a good morning, and then you start to burst off and all this because your focus, what you focus, it start to magnify. So if you focus on rounding a lot of bad things, then there's no good news, to be honest. So to be honest, that during that period, I was very scared. For 3 months, I was looking at all the events being cancelled and all the things being down and all this. I don't really know where to find strength. Okay, I don't really. So what I did was with my team, I said, let's start, since we have no business to talk about, right? Let's have this thing called Gratitude Friday. So every Friday morning, we go on Zoom with all my colleagues and come in and say that, just name one good thing that happened to you in this week. And actually, there's not many good news during that, you all know, right? So one of them just said that this morning I wake up and I thought that my mom made the breakfast. It's really not bad, the bread, it's quite nice kind of thing. So happens that the mom just walked by and I just turned around and said, so did you tell your mom about this? He said, no. Then why are you telling us? Turn around and tell your mom, say thank you. And actually that day starts to change. And when all of us start to focus on these little good things in our life, your perspective starts to change. I want to take one tagline that I think one of the radio station, if I'm not wrong, is 93.8, used to say that, and it's very nice. It says, change your perspective and it will change your life. So, and whether you're an entrepreneur, you're working for someone, you're a corporate guy, it doesn't matter. Perspective becomes very, very important. So I'm doing this. I just felt that there's no secret lah. So it's about perception. So I'm very, very thankful we're in Singapore. Of course, I watch the government closely and see how, because I really adore our government. I'm not a fan of any politics, but I'm just saying that we're very, very thankful for this government, that they are very good foresight, and usually I follow them quite closely this period to look at how are they adjusting. And during then, of course, then I got a phone call. I got a phone call from one of our partner about this project that we're talking about, which is just now that the PSA dormitory. And during then, I was probably one of the largest stockists, and they asked me, Don, how much stock do you have for the structure? And during then I said, yeah, I have a certain amount. If I'm working, I think I've covered more than 50% of what you need. And actually, they needed 65,000 square meters. I only have about 30 over, and I ship in from China, and 30 over 1,000 square meters, and we start building for them. And that becomes our saving grace. And that year during COVID was a good year for all of us. Yeah, for the next 3 years, actually, we did rather well. And I started giving out and helping other, spend those time helping the homeless people. I started to look inwards about how we do automation, because during then, when things are moving in and out, it's very hard for us to do any stock taking in terms of rental market, software and all this. But when everything stops, right, your team is free, so we get together a team and say, let's do something. Let's not pretend dead, because if everybody stays at home, after a while, at first it's quite fun, but after a while you find that this redundance start to sit in, and then the depression start to sit in, and then you get worried, and then all these things. So I didn't make them. I make them do a lot of other things, so to make them busy and keep their mind involved. And that's where probably the last thing that I felt personally was go back to people. I think honestly, take time to train. If you are a leader in any sense, take time to train your people well, because you all know this tagline, right? If you want to travel fast, you travel yourself. But if you want to travel far, it's good that you travel with a team, because I tell you, the honest truth is, for entrepreneur, not everybody will say thank you, no matter what you do. Okay, not everybody will say, oh, you have done well. No. You will come back and pat you on the back because you're an entrepreneur, so you don't expect that, okay? And even when it hurts, like for example, when it started that time, I have a group of 4 workers that were with me for a couple of years. So there are about 5 or 10% of them started to tell me, say, hey, boss, I don't want to go out because COVID is very dangerous. I want to go home. because China is, they say that China is dangerous. Singapore is dangerous because these two countries at that time started this. So they are from other countries. So I said, okay, if you want to go back, can, but we finish this job first. No, boss. If not, you send us to those COVID stations, later we cannot COVID away. So they get frightened. So I respect that. Anyway, I got no more job. So they want to go back, I send them back. So to me, it's actually a blessing. Yeah. Then we started to have this job, and we started to have regularly. So I'm going to tell you one story. When you take care of your people, what is going to happen? I have a guy who works for me for about 25 years, since my dad days. So that time the Causeway site was about to close. Okay. So I asked him, hey, you should go home because your wife and your children are all at home. Then he said, no, boss. I think I should stay here. I'll see what other things I can help. I said, don't worry about us. I said, there's no job here. You are here. I'm even more. I rather the only job that you do is to go back and take care of our family. So just about 3 hours before they closed the Johor way, he went back, and he didn't come back for 2 years. But in Singapore, that a few months later, we started to have this job, and it became a long-term lease from MOM, from 3 months to 6 months to 1 year to 2 years to 3 years. Actually, we just finally tear it down. Okay, so with that, right, what happened was I continued to pay him every month, and I continued to pay him for 2 years. Okay, I didn't stop paying him. Okay, and when the market opens up, he came back. The first thing he saw me was, he gave me a hug. He said, boss, I don't know why you do this, but thank you for saving my family and all these things, right? And I look at him. I say, no, I have to thank you. Nobody spent their time 28 years with a company. And this, if it's 2 years of doing this compared to the 28 years, this is nothing. And when you have more of such people in your team, when you build successful people in your team in such capacity, right? My question is, how do you feel when everybody is supporting you 120%, rather than you yourself giving 120% and everybody giving at 60%? Yeah, it's because your perspective, you're thinking no one deserves it, including ourselves. And it's true, no one deserves it. However, but if your perspective starts to change and say that this is a calling, this is a purpose in your life that you use to build others, then maybe it can be bigger. Maybe the business can be further. Maybe the value can be more. It's just touching on this, right? So that you probably have a different perspective on things. So I'm going to stop here for a while and read a little bit on the chat, right? Marilyn, you want to, I'm sure you have read all this, right? Is there anything that I need to answer so far?
We're just actually reconfirming what you have shared, or what we got from your sharing, especially around gratefulness, the one you've shared that you have been doing on every Friday. But we have a curious question from Frida because you've mentioned that you have been like reusing some of the things that you used to create tents and all those stuff, right? So she's curious to know, where do you actually put this or store this?
Oh, okay. I have a storage. Yes, I have a factory in Singapore. We have two areas that probably takes up about 30,000 square feet space. But all these are modular things originated from Germany, where it can be stacked properly and stored properly. And these are all aluminum structures. So incidentally, my business is not rocket science. However, it fits into the sustainability trend now. Okay, it just fit in. So yeah, thanks for asking this question, Freda. And I'm going to just share about some other things other than tents and structures that we do. Now, imagine, I remember when I took over, it was tables and chairs. And then we have a bit of steel structure. And then we start to move into aluminum structure. Did we stop there? The answer is no. So I'm going to show you where else we have done, okay? Give me a second. Okay, so innovation, okay? Our ideas don't stop at structure or tentage alone, okay? So we started to build other brands. started to build other brands in this. So give me a second. Let me clear this off so I can see what I'm reading. Okay. Sorry. Yep. Okay. So now when you have structure, okay, when we use the word tents. When you have tents, right, what is happening is it's more important to have content. So the con inside is far important. The tent is just a structure, right? So we started to build a few brands around what is an outdoor content. So we built a F&B element called Dining in the Garden City, that we can actually have dining inside a tent for during the Singapore Garden Festival. So we built solutions with, okay, we become a venue management under national parks. We manage all the national parks open space. When they need to do rental, we help them to do all this and say, oh, okay, we help them to facilitate and then and bookings. Now, imagine with me, right? After they book the empty venue, what else they need? Structure, right, usually, yeah, or at least tables and chairs. Now, if MParks is holding, so that this becomes complementary in a way, right? And it becomes predictable. I know what event is coming up. I just need to sell them, and I just need to not to be greedy about this portion. So we have a team about 20 guys, all at National Park. We won the contract for 6 years. We're managing all the event parks in all the national park in Singapore as well. So now it's got nothing to do with structure, right? It's got to do with services. It's closer to the consumer. Put your business closer to the end user. They will tell you, they will guide you along and tell you. But you must be quite humble to do that. You must be ready to dirty your hands. You must be ready to try out new things. You must constantly learning. And with this learning, I want to put a census again. That's what all this institute is all about, right? For us to keep learning, ongoing learning, no matter how old we are. Yeah. Okay. And because you're closer to the clients, right, they will tell you what is their problem. They will tell you, say, Don, so I give you an example. Just now you saw the Formula One, right? The double story structure. Now, when they come, they say, hey, I want this, I want the insulation to be like that. Could this be done? And we actually design from scratch for them. So even it's a standard item, we actually design into double story, where the staircase is going to be, where the toilet is going to be, design the entire thing. And we're very, very thankful for this, because when you have trust with your clients, you have a solution to tell. Because as long as they don't tell you what problem they are facing, you will not have a solution. So sticking close, the habit of actually, maintaining that trust between you and your colleague or your staff, and you and your client is the same. So you have to be truthful in a way, right? To be mindful that people actually trust the brand that you are building. Yeah. And then remember just now I also mentioned about funeral, how I started, right? So you realize that funeral and wedding is quite similar. Once in a lifetime, wedding, sometimes they marry twice again. But once in a lifetime and spend a lot of money without asking why. So when I'm actually trying to look at funeral itself, I'm also trying to look at weddings and say, how do I actually ensure that the couple can have a fantastic wedding without spending too much money? So we started this outdoor wedding specialist and to design. And most of the time, we're Armenian church and all these things is a context that no need. It doesn't take to be rich and famous to have outdoor weddings. So that's all the brands, some of the brands that we have created. The next thing, what we have done, yeah. So remember, I told you that when the clients have a problem, they will talk to you, right? So this is one issue. So when we first having this contract, the NC Hub for people, so this is the place where the PA actually reach out to the landed property owner. Okay, usually when you are maybe in the housing board area or the HDB site, you will have a community center. But actually, when you're in landed property, you don't have. So they can't reach out, and PA uses this. So we actually set up this temporary structure and build it up for our first contract so that they connect. But the first contract, we have a lot of problems. We tend to put a diesel behind. We put a generator behind and put a diesel. So when they use a generator, have this smoke and smell and nearer to landed property, actually it's not very environment friendly, to be honest. So by the time when we finish, the first contract, we already started to look at how do we put solar, how do we lighten, how do we use totally power, like all renewable energy to run this. And the more it's not a big thing. It's a very small room of 6 meter by 6 meter, and we started to think of aircon, how to do this. And today, successfully, we have done that using rechargeable batteries and all this to aircon and power this space. So this is also the learning journey that I am talking about in a way. So I want to bring you back again. Remember the chairs? If you are faithful with these little things, more shall be given along the way. If you think about it, right? Now, I can stop at the chairs and that's it, and complain about the government and say that everything, all this, right? But I didn't. I actually want to choose that to bring in more values to that way. Now, just now, in the wedding side, right? So I've helped many hotels to go and zoom into that, because when I started to do for national parks, right, the space are very open. So every time all my guys have to maybe spend their weekend to wait for the couples to come in or wait for event company to come in and show them the site. After showing them the site, they need to bring them around. How big is this place and all this? And I find that it's very inefficient. Okay, so what we do is we get a team to formulate and turn this and record into a virtual reality that they can walk through. So now at home, they can actually choose the venue as and when. Yeah, I'm adding something value. I hope all these will add value to the national parks, because they wanted people to use the parks for their community events and all this. So then now this becomes, so we are building more and more of such things so that people can be actually at their home, at their comfort, they can actually do this portion. Yeah, and then of course we turn empty space for hotels into revenuable space for weddings for them as well. So this is something that we have been. So if you have been to Fullerton, you have been to One Farrer Spa, you have been to Hotel Fort Canning, and those are created and also by us in a way. So we are very thankful for that. So these are the innovations that we in fact we didn't stop there. There are more and more things in the next, probably in our next one more year to come. You'll see a lot more new things coming up, because during the COVID, right, I'm very free. And after 3 days, I get very bored. So I keep thinking of where are the areas. I keep challenging our guys and say, is there a better way to do things like that? And let's continue to learn. So we have a tagline and say, be ambitious, think big and sell. Because if not, right, it's only for yourself. But if you think big enough, it's actually for a whole team to be able to work on it. And and with this, right, we can go for further Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Don, is it okay if we ask you like some questions?
Of course.
Oh, thank you so much for again reminding us how important it is to be close to our customers, because that's the only way we can serve them best or support them best, right? By understanding the need, or like being on the ground, right? As you've mentioned or shared with us. And Dr. Fred says that seems like you value relationship very much, both for your staff, friends, or I would say even to your, of course, customers, right? Having said the recent story before, Fred even asked this question. So how does this impact your business, especially during the time of crisis?
Now, members, I say I follow Singapore government, right? Singapore government have this MFA rule: make friends always, no matter who, right? It's so important, because when people need something, they think of their friends first. They won't think of, really. Yeah. So two things. Now, I used to have a consultant that I still have a consultant that is like acting like my boss. I hire a consultant to be my boss. Right? So, so we always joke about who you know is important or what you know. Remember those days? Who you know and what. So I always ask them, so is it who you know is more important or what you know is important? So they say, who you know, you go and look for them, but they might not help you. But what you know, people look for you. So number one is, that goes back to my earlier message about be very good at what you are doing, and be what I call that, do not despise what you do. So enhance the things that you are doing. Then people will look for you. That's one. And then number two, after that, be a people person. Just connect with everyone. You know, some people, you do not know when you need anyone. Just just be friends with everyone. Because business is also, I think, other than business, I think at the end of the day, when your journey ends, right? Just like when I was okay, this is a bit personal, but I want to share this since there's not many of you, right? All these, we are all quite, I never see all your face, but never mind, but I'll just share with you. Okay, so when I was doing the funeral, I was building something, and I will look down the structure at the time. Actually, there's a coffin lying down there, and I saw the family crying. And that's where, when at the early age of 30, I start to wonder, when I'm lying down there, what would people talk about me? What would people say about me? And I see a lot of regrets. I see a lot of unspoken Asia culture, where good things we just keep to our mouth, and then only when they die, then we say, yeah, you know, I love you, and all these things. It's too late. The fella died, in a way. So since then, I tell myself, use your mouth for good things. Say things that mean it and mean what you say, hopefully, and learn as much as possible. And 3 words will survive your whole long life. It's sorry, please, and thank you. Your journey will be fantastic. If you learn to say sorry more often to your team or whoever, please, thank you, I appreciate it, all these are good words. Yeah. So yes, Dr. Fred, I appreciate you as my friend and like a brother in Singapore. And yeah, I think having business success is one thing, but if your business is successful and you don't have friends around you, you must be owning a very high technology firm that no need people. You know, but if other than that, I think it's good to have friends around. Yes.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I just wanted to read this comment from Rachel as well. Hi, Dawn. The brands owned by Nanyang Incorporated uh was any of the ideas triggered from the ground level,
Yeah.
or only from management and branding professional? Your sharing is very uplifting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's not so much meant for uplift you. It's really what I go through. Okay. But thank you, Rachel, for your good word. It's all ground up. Yeah. Ground level up. I just call it what it is now. Yeah. With a purpose behind. I didn't wanted to just build a brand that means nothing. You know, I really wanted, yeah. So all these brand I actually seriously also don't really I have good people who know how to brand these names now, but I just have to just share them with the idea of what I wanted to achieve, and then they sort of add their value. So I have a very, very great team. Most of them are with me for 8 to 15 years. When they come in, they are just 23-year-old today. They are a mother of 3. All my successor, all these ladies and these guys, all these. I have a very, very good team. I'm so thankful to them. That's why I can do this and talk to you all, right? Because not forgetting this weekend is actually Formula One. But I'm thankful that I still have time to be able to share with you all what we do. Yeah. Is there any more question?
Yes, thank you so much again for taking time to to join us despite your busy schedules because of the F1. And we're also appreciative that your team is taking over the things they have to do.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier around virtual reality that you can tap on, as well as other technologies and innovations that you have been doing in the business. So what about AI? Are you also tapping on this now? And can you explain a bit? Dr. Fred is asking.
Okay, so thanks, Dr. Pat. You always ask a tough question, okay, but I love you still. Anyway, so the thing is, to be honest, right, I usually look for, I really look for people that I can trust and lead certain things that they are better than me. So let's say if I want to do that, I will feel that I will start to search for people who are at least has a clear understanding how this AI works and know the back end and all this. I usually don't like to tap it just to name it kind of thing, right? For just to use it as a brand that I know about AI and all this. So each sections, all this definitely is important, to be honest. But I don't, so far, God has not really put in AI specialist. He only put a few doctors beside me, like Dr. Fred, right, who likes to write books and all this. Yeah. So That's where he's urging me to write books. But so far, for AI portion, right, I know it's important, but it's a bit too complicated for me. But I am, until such time when I find someone in my team, if not, there are certain areas of my business that I need to tap on it, and such as the wedding media business. Yes, we try to partner someone, but this kind of partnership sometimes has a lot of business model in place that you need to find the right partner to marry. If not, your marriage will be a living nightmare that wastes a lot of time, kind of thing. So technically, even for me, right, you see that most of the things I explain is very layman. Because I'm not that highly educated as you think. Yeah, but I'm a practitioner. Anything that is be able to apply, I like to talk about it. But anything that is a bit too far off, maybe it's not time yet, and maybe I need to read more books before I can comment on that. So I will keep this Dr. Fred AI issue on the side, and I'll go and learn more. And maybe in the next meeting, I'll talk more about it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much for that. And again, I mean, in the next how many days? In 10 days, we will be actually running a program around AI. So you have to wait for that, Dr. Fred. And
Advertisement time, good. Praise God.
that leads me to reading this. I hope I'm pronouncing your name. Is it Jaime or Jamie? He or she said that this is a great reminder to be watchful with your words, to uplift and build up, appreciate, and make friends at all times. This is about what you've actually said earlier. And Frida says that marry the right person. Yes, you are right. It's gonna be if not right, Frida. Yeah.
I'm glad we're all getting personal here. This is more lively that way. I like it that way. Yeah, I think in fact I believe in the power of words. There is so much, right, that sometimes I choose to even apologize first, even if it's not my issue. Because if there's only one person on earth need to learn, right, and it better be me. Because if you are a leader, I think you probably have to. I think it's good to be humble. I think it's very good to be humble. But if I watch, okay. Recently, interestingly, I went to Vietnam. Okay, I saw this T-shirt that is a totally black T-shirt. Okay, with actually a red chair here somewhere here. Okay, I bought that T-shirt not knowing that it's one of the most expensive T-shirt on earth. I think that T-shirt cost me about 65 or US dollar or something like that. Yeah, and my wife thought that I'm crazy. And I bought this T-shirt because the chair is that same type of design chair that I used to lay. You know what I mean? And I bought that T-shirt without looking at the price. And I told my wife, I said, this is to remind me where I came from. And because of that, right, in my management meeting, I usually wear that to remind me where I came from. And when you know where you came from to where you are right now, right, you're very, very thankful, because what you are doing doesn't not only bless you and your family, it actually bless many of these the colleagues and staff together with me. So I wanted to I wanted to, at least in the journey of success, I think it's good to share with people. I share it so much that people that I don't think, so people think I'm very rich. Actually, no, I'm a giver lah. So I'm just a bit more giving, that's all. Because if you came from my background, I forgot to tell you all, actually, when I took over my dad, the family was in disaster. Okay, we owe 300,000. So every month, my just those the loan shark every month is already 10,000 a month that I need to take care, or 6,000, 8,000, I remember. Yeah. So I came in a very, very collapsed time that reminds me of all these things. So I feel that, I think especially on leaders itself, I think thanks, Jess. I think it's not easy to apologize, but remember, when you apologize, you actually, it's like you're pouring out again, empty yourself so that you can be filled again. You can relearn again. So you learn, you unlearn, you relearn, and then you continue to learn. So this process doesn't stop, especially for those who want to be leader. Yeah, this process doesn't stop. And I think it's very exciting to learn new things every day. And to be honest, right, I actually volunteered to be in this thing called Entrepreneurship Impact for NUS. And I'm actually being like a small mentor for some of the new NUS grad and all this. Actually, when I went there, I realized that I'm learning, not them. I'm relearning so that I can have a communication with my son. You know, a better communication when they say like that, what it means. So every of these things inside, like you're sowing seed, like inside one apple, you can find how many seeds. But inside one seed, you cannot know how many apples you're going to produce unless you sow it. So if you want constant harvest, right, keep sowing these seeds, whether be it a good word, be it an encouraging word, whether be it a thank you, and it's going to be exciting because it will just wake up somebody's mind. You know, it will just encourage a person because in this world, it's really quite dark, right? You know, if the everyday challenge is really quite dark, and sometimes shock people by doing a bit of exceptional things, it may brighten up someone's day. So just to share with you, last night I was at Newton Circle buying tapao this one of the food lah. Yeah. So I was waiting for half an hour, and then there's a wheelchair person just come by. Now she was selling like tissue and all this. So I decided to give her $5 and take one packet of tissue. I said, it's okay, I just need one packet. But this is to bless you. Then suddenly I see her, wow, her strength to roll, like much more like that. You know, and I know that actually, yeah, I think Singapore or anywhere where in that part of the world, right, we cannot change the world's Wi-Fi, but you can definitely change your own Wi-Fi so that you affect the one that is next to you. So with that, I think that it makes business, it makes most difficult time beautiful. It makes leading through turbulence beautiful. It makes adversary become opportunities as long as you keep your perspective correct, perspective right. Now, I'm not trying to be a bit saint. I still make lots of mistakes along the way. However, yeah, but it sort of, yeah, it's just exciting, okay? Sorry, I was just reading this. US 65 for a t-shirt is what, too expensive, but it held oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, this is my favorite t-shirt nowadays. Yeah, the $65 t-shirt, it was so good. Yeah, because that chair really means a lot. That 2,000 chairs, yeah. I was really quite, actually, during then, it was not resilient. I was hungry. I need to eat. Yeah. Any other questions? If not, let me just see whether any other page, I don't want to miss out anything. I just want to show you all a few more things, slides, if you all don't mind. So in that journey, or during the 3 years of COVID, after I set up for the PSA, right, I have a lot of time. So we actually gone into a rental management system. First quarter, we started to change our zero accounting system. We get into current commencement. Then we use HubSpot for all these things to prepare ourselves for the opening, like now. Yeah. And then with that, yeah, these are the two things that I'm most proud of, because in the industry, nobody has done that. Nobody uses all this, right? So we are probably one of the first. And I just want to share with you, these are the people that I love. These are the people that are with me for 6 years to 28 years. Okay, let me share with you who are the ones that is 28 years. Let me see. Oh, and this guy. Can you see my pointer? Can you see the pointer? Okay, this guy is the 28 years, who is whose family is in Johor. Yeah. And all these guys are with, you look at them, they're not old. Yeah. So my three successor, she belongs to the account side. She is the ops team head, and then she is my successor on this. So I'm very, very thankful for a team like that. And with a team, you may look like, yeah, this is more, yeah, I love family values. I don't like family business, okay? I love family values. So we keep the values, but we corporate run it properly in a way. I wanted to have the best of both worlds in a way. And actually, if you really use your work to empower them, use your work to build your team, use whatever you have to build your team, one of these days, you may see them become this. We can still make it no matter how small your business is. Now, remember, we started off with chairs. So that is the kind of story that we're at. I want to spend a bit more time maybe so that I can interact with you all better. I'm an event guy. This is a bit lonely to talk and then let everyone listen. Yep.
Thank you so much for that beautiful conversation, sharing with us. I mean, it's actually good that our attendees are very interactive, giving their comments, their lessons, their questions, and a lot of them actually. This is really a good like audience that we have, so thank you so much for that. And of course, I mean, it's really good because you have shared with us a lot of practical things as well. And before they ask more question, if you have more questions for Dawn, keep it coming. But I mean, for me, if I were to summarize or like get my top 3 lessons from what I've learned from you, it's really so much around appreciation or gratefulness that we need to have so that we can have more, in fact. And also taking care of the people. And that part of that is actually providing training. Again, you mentioned about keep sowing on the seeds to grow, and being able to help other people as well by listening to them, by being friends with them, by building relationships generally, and constantly learning as well to be like what you've said, who you are and what you are is very important. So you really have to be very good with what you are doing, right? And part of that, or to be able to do so, I would say you need to be continuously learning. And so I wanted to call on Dr. Fred to share with us how do we do that.
Yes, doctor.
Oh, thank you, Don. Thank you so much. You're always very generous with your sharing. Yeah, just
Let me clear this off so that I can see my dear beloved brother.
well, for everyone's knowledge, Don and I had been friends for almost 20 years, 2004. Yeah. And in the schools that
I knew him when I was
with,
10.
Ah. So anyway, I can really say that Don is a very humble, very successful entrepreneur. I call him a turnaround entrepreneur. You know, as a matter of fact, I had a privilege to really study his traits and characteristics. And if any one of you is interested, we have published an article about Don, right, in an international journal. So anyway, thank you for that. And can I share my slides for 2 minutes? I'd like to share something for everyone. Okay, since Marilyn mentioned that we are very proud to share with you our program, which is it's called the Postgraduate Diploma in Management plus an MBA. Okay, Census Institute is able to partner with with quite a number of universities, and we are vouching for one university which provides some very exciting and very unique pathway to an MBA. So the reason why we really believe that this is for everyone, especially for busy professionals, is that it's not only like academic that we're looking at here. Like Don, actually Don and all the other friends that we have in the industry have been giving us, updates and information. That's why our program, right, is about networking. So we provide networking for our students. It is aligned with the industry requirements, and we have employability badges like certifications within the program itself, and it is also AI-driven coursework. Yeah. So if you're interested, just let us know, right? And the pathway to this MBA, right? We have the postgraduate diploma, which is has 3 streams. First is business analytics, digital marketing, and SME management. And it is accepted by at least 5 universities overseas: UK, Germany, Australia, Spain, and Malaysia. Arden University, University of Huddersfield in UK, Adelaide Institute of Higher Education, Australia, UCAM, which is a Spanish university, and a very reputable university in Malaysia, which is the Manipal Group. Okay, so the postgraduate diploma right, is a 6-module course, right? You have 4 core modules and 2 electives. And then after this 12 to 15 months of coursework, you can take up the 1 module required by the Arden University in UK, which is a 6 months, coursework, which is called the Business Transformation Project. So you can inquire about our core modules as well as the electives that we have here, dependent on the stream or track that you would like to choose. So we call it 6 by 6 plus 6 because it is 6 modules plus 6 months that Arden University is giving our students to do it. Entry requirements, the regular would be, of course, English proficiency, equivalence, and then a minimum of 21 years old, degree holder, but we have an alternative entry for those who do not finish high school or secondary school, as long as you have 10 years of studies, as long as you are minimum 30 years of age and have 8 years of work experience and are employed, we can admit you to take up this PGDM MBA, because even the government of Singapore recognizes your experience, right? So we have this program which is very suitable for those professionals and entrepreneurs. So this is a sample of the certificate that Arden University will provide. You can see here is a Master of Business Administration, right? Very authentic one. So talk about Arden. It has 5 campuses in the UK, right? It has more than 23,000 students globally. And UK and Germany, it has study centers. And then schools and faculty, we can do blended as well. Okay, just a few more. Arden wins Best Higher Education Provider at Education Investors Awards in 2023. Almost every year, they won for 3 years already. So contact us at ascensus.edu.sg. We have inquiries at ascensus.edu. Look for Christina May. This is our telephone number. Thank you very much. Very fast, You see 2 minutes.
It sounds like a banker. Okay. Okay.
Why you laugh, bro?
Thank you so much for bringing us through what PGDM is. And again, like what Don Ho shared earlier, that it's important to continue to also invest in yourself, develop yourself, your team, and all. So thank you so much for joining us today. Is there any more question before we actually end this webinar?
I have a question. I didn't know that my staff is actually here to spy on me. I just realized that some of them, I didn't say anything wrong. So you can, they are spying and see whether they tell the truth or not. So for everyone, just watch what you say. Be truthful to yourself, because your staff is watching as well. Actually, I have one last thing to say. I realized that actually building trust is actually during good times. During the bad times, when the disaster comes, you don't have enough time to build trust. And there will be a lot of doubts that is going to throw along the way about your truthfulness, whether will you take them out, will you still stay with them, will you still stick by them? By then it's even much tougher. So please do your due diligence in terms of getting your team to trust you during good times. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for that important message to end this webinar. And again, thank you so much, Don, for your generosity and for all the mistakes that
we have a photo shoot, Marilyn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe everyone should show face, for
please.
Don would like to reserve memories,
Yes. On gallery mode. Okay. So everyone, please turn on your camera. We wanted to see your handsome and beautiful faces before we end this.
My staff is left.
Session. Okay. Ready to take photo? Okay. Okay, ready everyone, smile. Okay, great. I have May, are you taking photos also? I took some shots, some print screens, so Hopefully it's good, but at least we have this recording as well. Again, thank you so much, not only
you,
to
everyone.
Don for giving us all these
Thank you, Don.
lessons,
Thanks,
mistakes
thanks.
in life, but also to all our participants who actually really amazingly participated to this session with their questions, with their takeaways. And again, for your question, Dr. Fred, on AI, we will have that session, The Adventures of Yoda and C3PO, Taming Promises and Pitfalls of AI in Business, this coming 22nd September, Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. And this is gonna be a face-to-face. So Don, if you can join us also face-to-face so we can see you and we can learn more from you. Feel free to join us in this conversation. This is going to be at the Beach Road Golden Mile Tower. So with that, we would like to end this webinar. Thank you so much for joining
Thanks,
us
everyone. Thank you.
and see you again in our next event. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
everyone. Bye for now.